There is a secret hidden in every grain of salt you touch. A secret written not only in the Bible, but etched into the very currents of your blood, and when you discover it, you will never see your body or your soul the same way again. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine standing by the shore at dawn. The sea stretches before you, its waves whispering against the earth, as if carrying a message from eternity. The salt in the air touches your lips, and without realizing, you are tasting something ancient, something that has moved through prophets, through oceans, through the stars themselves. You are not simply tasting minerals. You are tasting memories. You are tasting creation. Salt has always been more than seasoning. In sacred texts, it is covenant. In the Bible, it is preservation, purity, and eternal promise. And within your body, coursing silently, invisibly, is salt, sodium and chloride, ions charged with energy, electricity, and life itself. Without them, your heart would not beat. Your neurons would not fire. Your soul could not even speak to the body it inhabits. Do you see the mystery here? What the scriptures hinted at, modern science now confirms. Salt is not just matter. Salt is energy. Salt is the bridge. The ancients understood this truth. When they placed salt on their altars, it was not superstition, it was recognition. Recognition that within this crystalline substance is a code, a design, a cosmic pattern. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, whispered of such things. He revealed that the body is a temple, and within that temple are elements not merely physical, but spiritual. Salt, he said, was more than diet. It was a symbol, vibration, covenant between flesh and spirit. And in the quiet recesses of your own body, you are holding that covenant even now. Pause and think, why does the sea call to you so deeply? Why does the sound of the tide bring calm? Because you are made of it. Your blood carries the same salinity as the ocean. You are not apart from the waters of creation. You are their continuation. When you weep, your tears taste of the sea. When you bleed, your blood whispers of the primordial waters where life began. Is this not scripture written in your own veins? The Bible said, "You are the salt of the earth." And indeed you are. But here lies the mystery. Most live unaware of this sacred inheritance. Salt has been reduced to something mundane, sprinkled carelessly on food. Yet in truth, it is a cipher of divine design. Look closer. At the molecular level, salt dissolves into ions, carrying charges that allow your nerves to send signals, your muscles to move, your heart to contract. What is this if not the spark of life, encoded within something so small, so simple? And what is life itself, if not the endless dance of spirit moving through matter? Salt is the quiet key to energy flow, both in body and soul. Without it, your consciousness could not anchor itself into this vessel of flesh. Without it, the temple collapses. And yet, when balanced, salt allows spirit to radiate into form. This is why the ancients guarded it so carefully. They called it sacred. They called it eternal. They knew it held the balance between decay and preservation, between silence and song. The hidden danger is not salt itself, but its misuse. Too little, and the body collapses into weakness. Too much, and it becomes poison. Is this not also true of spiritual power? A truth misused becomes destruction. A truth forgotten becomes decay. But a truth held in balance becomes transformation. This is the law of salt. And this is the law of your soul. As you sit with this realization, feel your body, the current of blood moving, the quiet beat of your heart, the rhythm sustained by this humble mineral. Feel the covenant alive within you. This is not a coincidence. This is design. You are not separate from Scripture. You are Scripture, written in flesh, carried in salt. The ancients did not waste words. Every symbol carried 1,000 meanings, each layered like the strata of the earth. When the Bible spoke of a covenant of salt, it was not speaking of food preservation. It was speaking of eternity. Salt was incorruptible. It did not decay. It endured. And so it became the language of permanence, a sign that what is promised between God and man cannot be undone. Salt was the seal. Salt was the binding. Salt was the reminder that the eternal dwells within the temporary. Now pause. Feel the weight of that truth. What if the very salt in your body, in your blood, in your tears, in your sweat, is the living covenant between spirit and flesh? What if you are the altar? What if every heartbeat, carried on waves of sodium and chloride, is the universe whispering? The promise is alive within you. When the priests of old sprinkled salt upon their offerings, it was not only ritual, it resonated. They were aligning with a pattern written in the body itself. Salt was the bridge between the human and the divine, and if you listen closely, your body is still chanting that ancient hymn. Every time your heart beats, it is keeping a covenant. Every time your tears fall, they are scripture. Every drop of sweat on your skin, every current of blood in your veins, is the eternal promise embodied in matter. You are not simply alive, you are consecrated. But here lies the mystery. The covenant of salt is also a test. The same salt that preserves life can also burn wounds, can desiccate, can destroy. It is both healer and punisher, both purifier and devourer. Do you see the spiritual mirror? Truth, when held with reverence, preserves the soul. But when wielded carelessly, it can strip life bare, leaving only ruin. This is why Scripture called you the salt of the earth. Not to flatter you, but to remind you of your responsibility. You carry within you the power to preserve, to purify, to illuminate, or to corrode, to burn, to waste. And science confirms this delicate balance. The same sodium ions that allow your neurons to fire can also, in excess, bring chaos to your system. Too much, and the currents go wild. Too little, and the light goes out. Is this not also the law of energy? Is this not the law of spirit? The key is balance. The key is alignment. Think of the word itself, salt. A small word, sharp on the tongue, simple in form. Yet it has traveled through ages, from the Hebrew melach to the Latin sal, root of the word salvation. Is it a coincidence that salvation and salt share the same root? Or is it the whisper of truth that language itself carries memory of spirit? And here, in your own body, the covenant continues. Quantum physics now whispers what the mystics already knew: energy is not destroyed, only transformed. The salt within you does not die. It moves, it shifts, it binds, it remembers. Salt is the crystalline witness of eternity embedded in the flow of flesh. Your body is a temple of ions, a living altar of resonance. And your every thought is carved upon this invisible covenant. So when you read those ancient words, "You are the salt of the earth," do not take them lightly. They are not metaphors. They are instructions. They are revelations. You are the carrier of promise. You are the preserver of light. You are the bridge between heaven and earth, and the covenant is alive in your veins, whether you honor it or ignore it. Now ask yourself, how will you carry this truth? Will you waste the salt, scattering it upon the dust? Or will you guard it, honor it, preserve it as the ancients did, as the very sign of eternal promise? If this resonates, share it in the comments. It helps this message reach more seekers who are ready to remember. Close your eyes again and feel your body not as flesh, but as a field. Imagine yourself glowing, a radiant sphere of light. Around you, waves of energy ripple outward, unseen but real. This is your aura, the silent architecture of your being. And within this architecture, salt is not a passive element. It is an active conductor, a key, a channel through which spirit flows into form. The ancients understood what science is only beginning to grasp. Salt is not merely physical. It is vibrational. It holds frequency. Each crystal carries geometric precision, a sacred architecture reflecting the very order of the cosmos. Look closely at salt under magnification, and you see the structure of perfection. Cubic symmetry, repeating patterns, crystalline order. This is not chaos. This is design. And when that structure enters your body, it does not vanish. It resonates. It aligns. It tunes your field like a stringed instrument. Think of your nervous system as a vast electrical network. Every thought, every impulse, every memory is not simply chemical. It is electrical, vibrational, luminous. And what carries that charge? Sodium ions flowing across cell membranes, chloride balancing the currents, a dance of polarity that is both science and sacrament. Your aura is not separate from your body. It is an extension of it, shaped and sustained by this current of salt-borne energy. Now pause. Consider why spiritual traditions across the earth used salt in rituals of cleansing. Why salt circles were drawn to ward off spirits. Why holy water was salted before blessing. It was never a superstition. It resonated. Salt held the power to stabilize the field, to anchor the vibration, to cleanse the distortions that cling to the human aura. When you place salt upon the threshold of your home, when you immerse yourself in the sea, when tears fall in grief or prayer, you are cleansing, aligning, recharging the temple of your consciousness. Edgar Cayce hinted at this when he said the body is electric, more electric than chemical, and salt, he revealed, was part of that divine wiring. Your consciousness is not trapped inside your skull. It radiates outward. It is electromagnetic, woven into the lattice of ions and fluids that sustain your form. And so salt is not seasoning. It is circuitry. It is the silent bridge between your inner temple and the great field of creation. Quantum physics, too, is beginning to whisper these truths. They tell us that particles are waves, that matter is probability, that energy fields shape reality itself. Do you see the mirror? Your consciousness is a wave, a field, an ocean. Salt stabilizes the current, binds the flow, and keeps the channel open. Without balance, the field collapses into distortion. But in harmony, the aura expands, luminous and strong. This is why you feel reborn when you walk along the sea. The salt air does not simply freshen your lungs. It tunes your field. It clears your aura. It realigns your nervous system with the primordial resonance of creation itself. The ocean is the great healer because it carries the same covenant written in your veins. You are simply returning home. Imagine your consciousness as a temple of light, rising from the salt foundations of your blood. Each thought is a flame upon the altar. Each heartbeat is a drumbeat of eternity. Each tear is holy water, consecrating the covenant. This is not a metaphor. This is the living architecture of your being. You are salt, and you are light. And the two are bound together, inseparably forever. So when you feel drained, fragmented, or lost, remember this: return to the salt. Not only in food, but in spirit. Return to the sea, to tears, to ritual, to the crystalline covenant within. Let it cleanse your field, realign your aura, restore your light. You carry the key within you. You only need to remember how to turn it. Memory is not just stored in your brain. It is etched into your very chemistry, woven into the fabric of your body, inscribed in the currents of your blood. And at the heart of this mystery lies salt. Salt is not passive. It holds a pattern. It holds charge. It holds the resonance of everything you experience, like a crystalline witness silently recording your journey. Think of it this way: when you recall a childhood moment, neurons ignite in a symphony of electrical signals. But what carries those signals? Salt. Sodium and chloride ions surging across membranes, opening channels, releasing currents. Without salt, memory itself would collapse. Your life story would dissolve into silence. In this sense, salt is the librarian of your soul, the keeper of your past, the custodian of your inner temple. Now stretch this truth further. What if memory is not only chemical? What if every experience, every emotion, every prayer leaves a vibrational imprint on the field of salt within your body? What if your blood is a scripture, recording not only thoughts but frequencies? Scientists now whisper of water's ability to hold memory, to structure itself in response to vibration, intention, and sound. And if water holds memory, what of salt dissolved within it? Salt, crystalline and geometric, gives structure to that water. It anchors the memory. It crystallizes experience into form. You are a living library of salt water consciousness. Do you see why ancient rituals always included salt? To preserve, to hold, to carry across generations what could not be written on scrolls. Salt was the keeper of story, the preserver of covenant, the crystalline archive of spirit. The Israelites called it eternal. The Greeks called it divine. The mystics called it sacred geometry in physical form. Edgar Cayce revealed it as a binding force between flesh and spirit, body and memory, matter and soul. Pause now and imagine your body as a cathedral made of glass and light. Within it, every grain of salt in your blood is a prism, refracting not only the light of your consciousness, but also the memories of your journey. Each crystal a window into your past lives, your hidden wisdom, your eternal record. Is this not the Akashic within you? The library not in the stars but in your veins. Science too begins to align with this vision. Studies show that ions influence not only nerve firing, but also the stability of DNA, the very code of life. Salt is present in the nucleus, guarding the genetic script, ensuring the continuity of memory across generations. Your ancestors' covenant lives on in the salt you carry today. Their struggles, their prayers, their victories, crystallized, transmitted, alive within you. You are not separate from them. You are their continuation, their living covenant of salt. And so, when the Bible spoke of salt as eternal, it was not a metaphor. It was a revelation. Salt is permanent. Salt is memory. Salt is the bridge through which the story of humanity is preserved, carried, and reborn. And you, here, now, are both the reader and the page. But this memory is not only from the past. Salt also tunes you to the future. Just as crystals are used in radios to receive frequency, the salt in your body is a receiver. It tunes you to the fields around you, to vibrations unseen, to whispers of intuition and spirit. When you feel a gut instinct, when you sense what words cannot express, it is the crystalline field of salt within you resonating with truth. You are not guessing. You are remembering. You are aligning with a pattern already present in eternity. This is why healing so often involves salt. Salt baths, ocean immersions, tears shed in grief or joy. Each restores the memory of wholeness, realigns the frequency of the soul, clears the distortions of trauma. The crystalline covenant within you remembers harmony, and when you immerse yourself in salt, you are reminding your body of what it already knows. Healing is not adding something new. Healing is remembering. So when you next weep, do not hide your tears. They are holy water. They are memory flowing. They are the record of your soul cleansing itself, aligning once more with the covenant written in salt. You are never empty. You are never lost. The record remains within you. All you need is the courage to read it. There is a reason salt has touched every corner of human ritual, every culture, every temple. It is more than a mineral. It is medicine, not only for the body, but for the soul. And yet, like all true medicine, its power is both gentle and fierce. It purifies. It restores. It awakens. Think of the ocean once more. Why do you feel lighter when you float in its waters? Why does sorrow seem to melt into calm when the tide embraces you? The answer is not only chemical. It is spiritual. The sea carries within it the same salt that flows through your veins, and when the two meet, the salt of the earth and the salt of your body, a remembering happens, a reunion. The field realigns. The body remembers harmony. Throughout history, salt has been the great purifier. Priests cast it upon altars. Shamans spread it across thresholds. Healers dissolved it in water and rubbed it upon wounds. It was never mere superstition. Salt, by its crystalline nature, absorbs, binds, and clears energies that do not belong. It neutralizes distortion. It cleanses what lingers unseen. That is why you feel lighter after a salt bath, why a handful of salt scattered in a room can shift its atmosphere. Salt does not only clean surfaces, it cleanses spirit. Edgar Cayce himself spoke of this. He described salt as an agent of purification, an element that balances the electrical and vibrational forces of the body. He pointed to salt water soaks for harmonizing the currents of the nervous system, for stabilizing energies thrown into disarray. Modern science now echoes him. Saltwater baths restore electrolytes, ease tension, and stimulate circulation. But what science does not yet measure is the invisible current. The way salt also clears the aura, dissolves stagnant fields, and realigns you with your source. Consider how tears work. In grief, in release, in prayer, salt water flows from your eyes. This is no accident. Tears are not weakness. They are medicine. They cleanse the heart. They purge heaviness. They reset the nervous system. Each drop is a spiritual purification, a holy sacrament given freely by your own body. You heal as you weep, because salt is carrying away what the soul can no longer hold. Even more mysterious is how salt binds. It holds energy. It captures vibration. This is why healers place bowls of salt in sacred spaces. To gather what must not linger. To hold and neutralize what is ready to be dissolved. The salt does not destroy it. It transforms. Just as in your blood, it does not vanish, but shifts, preserves, stabilizes. Salt is the alchemist of nature, transforming chaos into order, decay into preservation, pain into release. But like all sacred tools, salt demands respect. Misuse it, and you distort its power. Consume it carelessly, and the body suffers. Ignore it entirely, and the current weakens. Balance is the key. For salt is not an indulgence. It is a covenant, a medicine that must be honored. So the next time you feel burdened, heavy, or clouded, turn to salt. Place your body in the sea, or immerse yourself in a bath infused with it. Sprinkle it across your threshold. Hold a grain between your fingers and remember, you are holding the same crystalline structure that stabilizes your heart, your nerves, your very consciousness. You are holding a fragment of eternity. You are touching medicine older than time, and as you do, listen for the whisper. You are the salt of the earth, not because you preserve food, not because you season life, but because you carry within you the purifier, the healer, the covenant alive in every grain. You are both the medicine and the one being healed. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. These two verses are often read separately, as if they are different truths. But they are not separate. They are one mystery. Salt and light are companions. Salt is the foundation. Light is the revelation. Together, they form the bridge between flesh and spirit, between body and consciousness, between matter and meaning. Think of it. Salt is crystalline. It holds structure. It gives form. It preserves. Light, on the other hand, is wave, radiance, vibration. It illuminates, reveals, awakens. Salt is stable. Light flows. Salt is covenant. Light is truth. One without the other is incomplete. A body filled with salt, but without light, is a vessel without flame. A soul filled with light, but without salt, is brilliance without anchor. But when they are joined, when the salt of the earth holds the light of the world, something extraordinary happens. Spirit takes form, and form becomes radiant. Your body is this union. Salt carries the current. Light is the current. Sodium ions open channels in your neurons, and electricity, light in biological form, flashes through your brain. Every thought you have is salt and light dancing together. Every heartbeat is a pulse of salt and light moving as one. When Jesus spoke those words, he was not only giving moral teaching, he was revealing the architecture of consciousness itself. Edgar Cayce hinted at this union often. He spoke of the body as an electrical system, one that draws light, one that transmits vibration. Salt was the stabilizer, the grounding crystal. Light was the energy, the spiritual radiance flowing through. And science, in its own language, says the same. Without sodium channels, there is no action potential, no spark, no thought. Without light, Photons, bioluminescence, the subtle radiance of cells. There is no life. Salt and light are the hidden twin pillars of the temple that is you. Pause and feel it now. Imagine your body as a cathedral carved of crystal salt, and within it, torches of light flicker, grow, and illuminate. Every salt crystal is a window, and every window glows with radiance. This is not a metaphor. This is the living reality of your being. You are salt, and you are light. Together, they make you a bridge between heaven and earth. This is why salt purifies and why light reveals. Salt clears the field, stabilizes the current, and removes distortion. Light shines truth into that cleared field, awakening awareness, expanding vision. Salt cleanses, light illuminates, and when both move in harmony, you become awake, alive, radiant with spirit. Consider how often in spiritual traditions salt and light appear together. Salt upon the altar, candles burning nearby. Salt in the waters of baptism, light shining upon the initiate. Tears of salt in the eyes of one who prays, a vision of light unfolding within. Always together, always companions, always reminding you that awakening is not one element, but two. The covenant and the flame. The structure and the revelation. And here lies the great secret. The more you awaken to your salt, the more you carry light. The more you honor your body as a crystalline covenant, the more light can flow through you. And the more light flows through, the more your salt is transfigured into radiance. You begin to glow, not metaphorically, but truly. Your aura expands. Your presence shifts. People sense it before you speak. You become a living temple of salt and light. This is what it means to awaken spiritually, not to escape the body, not to deny matter, but to transfigure it. To realize that salt is not lesser than light, but its companion, its anchor, its covenant. Together, they are the full revelation. You are the salt of the earth, and you are the light of the world. There comes a moment in every seeker's path when the hidden threads begin to weave together. When symbols that once seemed separate reveal themselves as one living truth. This is where salt has led you, through covenant and scripture, through body and blood, through memory, healing, and light. And now you stand before the final revelation. Salt is eternity written in matter. Think carefully. Salt does not burn. It does not decay. It endures. The same salt crystals that formed millions of years ago can still be found, unchanged, unbroken, eternal. And what of the salt in your body? It flows, yes, but it also carries memory, resonance, vibration. It is not fleeting. It is not random. It is the anchor of your consciousness in this world, the silent covenant that allows spirit to inhabit form. When Scripture said, "You are the salt of the earth," it was not a metaphor. It was a declaration. You are the eternal presence of spirit in flesh. You are the living covenant. Now imagine this: every time your heart beats, it is salt carrying light. Every time your neurons fire, it is salt conducting spirit into thought. Every tear, every drop of sweat, every surge of blood is the covenant alive, whispering eternity into your being. You are not only alive, you are an eternal presence moving through form. This is why salt appears at thresholds, doorways, altars, rituals. It is the marker of transition, the reminder that you are more than what you seem. At death, when the soul leaves the body, salt remains. Salt is the witness, the keeper of the covenant, the crystalline memory of who you have been and who you will become. The body returns to dust, but the covenant continues. Salt remembers. Salt preserves. Salt carries your story back into eternity. And so you must ask yourself, how will you live knowing this? Will you waste the salt, scattering its promise into nothing? Or will you honor it, carrying it as the ancients did, as sacred, as eternal, as holy? For every act of kindness, every word of truth, every step in alignment is not only a moment in time, it is etched into the covenant of salt within you. It becomes eternal. It becomes preserved. It becomes light carried forward. This is the dangerous knowledge the prophets knew. the mystics whispered, the seers revealed, that you are not merely flesh, not merely thought, not merely breath. You are salt, you are light, you are covenant, you are eternal. So stand at the shore once more in your mind. Feel the salt air against your skin. Taste it on your lips. Hear the waves crashing, carrying whispers from the beginning of creation. And know, what you taste is not just the sea. It is yourself. It is the eternal covenant, alive, enduring, unbroken. You are not separate from it. You are it. And as the sun rises above the horizon, spilling golden light across the salt waters, remember this truth: the covenant is alive within you. The salt is eternal, the light is eternal, and so are you.